This is Glow in the Dark Radio. The science fiction podcast with original independent science fiction written and performed by Mike Luoma, with music by Kevin MacLeod. The Vatican Assassin Trilogy and The Adventures of Alibi Jones by Mike Luoma are available in ebook, trade paperback, and audiobook wherever you find your books online. Get links and details at glowinthedarkradio.com. This is the Science Fiction Podcast, Glow in the Dark Radio. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma, and I have Chapter 25 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest coming up on this episode. Alibi Jones's past, and the events at the end of the Vatican Assassin Trilogy, for that matter, have intruded into his present situation, as his biological mother, Ruth, reached out to him. But she's supposed to be locked up for killing Alibi's father, B.C. Bernard Campion, the Vatican assassin. Spoiler alert, sorry. But yeah, she's been freed, it seems, by cultists following someone new calling themselves the Light, which Ruth's old cult leader called himself before Ruth's father actually killed him. B.C. was supposed to. He was assigned to assassinate the Light, but Ruth's father, Cardinal Kim, actually did the deed. It's a long story, which I tell as part of Vatican Assassin, as part of the Vatican Assassin Trilogy. If you're interested, you can go back a whole bunch of episodes in this podcast and give it a listen. The entire Vatican Assassin Trilogy is on the podcast. Or you can get a copy of the trilogy everywhere books are sold. Paperback, ebook, audiobook. Just go to books2read.com/Vatican Assassin Trilogy. That's books2read.com/Vatican Assassin Trilogy. Now, when we left Alibi, he'd just discovered that his mother, Ruth, was now talking to the news media. That can't be good. We'll pick things up there in Chapter 25 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest on this episode of Glow in the Dark Radio. Got to thank a new patron who's come on board. I use Patreon, patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio to help support the podcast, give you a chance to crowdfund the podcast, and things have been getting a little bit grim. I'd lost a couple people. People notched things down. And, with the economy being what it is, I understand that. But now I want to thank a new patron, a new Glow in the Dark Radio patron. Chris came on board this past week. So thank you for joining us, Chris. And thanks again to Jim, who recently raised his monthly pledge. And that's always helpful. After losing a couple of patrons and people notching things down, as I said, it's just been nice to see a sort of reversal of the trend, And I'd love to have you as a patron, if you can afford to do it and you'd like to support Glow in the Dark Radio. You can do it for $2, $5, or $10 a month. Just go to patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio, and you can learn more there. We're going to get into Chapter 25 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest next on Glow in the Dark Radio.
Hi, I'm JC. My co-host Cindy and I host the Fix It Home Improvement Podcast. We cover projects that every homeowner should know and top-rated products for home and garden. You can check it out on your favorite podcast app. It's called Fix It, Fixit, Home Improvement.
Now here's Chapter 25 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest on Glow in the Dark Radio. An interview with the mother of the infamous Alibi Jones on Newsnight. The screen cut to an image of Alibi's mother Ruth, sitting, staring into space, looking much as she did earlier when she'd called Alibi. "Thank you for joining us tonight, Ruth," the announcer said. "Thank you, John. I was surprised you wanted to speak to me," Ruth said. "Well, many people think of Alibi Jones as the son of former Prime Rep Anita Capituna, but she's really his foster mother, in a way, isn't she?" "I guess," Ruth said. "I don't know her. I have heard that she raised my son." "Indeed," the announcer said. "So, you are the real mother, the biological mother of Alibi Jones, then?" "Well, yes," she said. "His father, B.C., needed an alibi. That night I was his alibi, and when his son was born, I named him Alibi." "But you killed him, didn't you?" the announcer asked. "Not my son, no," she said. "You killed Bernard Campion." She tried to respond. She stopped answering and started to cry as she blinked at the screen. "I'm sorry, Ruth," the announcer said. "It's hard for me to talk about that," she said. "A lot of people think of Bernard Campion as a war hero," the announcer said, "but we also know BC was an assassin. You've killed too. Maybe it's no surprise your son is a mass murderer as well." Ruth's eyes grew wide at the surprise provocation. "He's no murderer. He's she said, trying to find the word. "He's a mediator. He mediates. Thoth was a mediator. Hermes was a mediator. And they both were psychopomps. They would lead the dead to the afterlife. It's hermetic knowledge. Gnosis, you know, like Hermes Trismegistus. In some ways, he's brought me back from the dead. He brings his mother back from the dead, like a reverse psychopomp." The audio faded as Ruth continued ranting. The announcer's voiceover began to drown out her words. "Ruth Jones, the actual mother of Alibi Jones," the announcer intoned. "Like mother, like son? You be the judge. This is Newsnight. I'm Alibi shut off the feed. "Her name isn't Jones, you morons. It's Kim," Alibi said, talking back to the now-dead comm. "Jones is mine, precisely because I didn't want her last name. Or Campion's. Man, the media always gets everything wrong." Alibi looked through more of the search results on his mother. She didn't seem to have given any other interviews today, thank God. At some point during his reading, he drifted off to sleep and floated among the stars. As he slept a few nights later, Alibi found himself in the midst of the gases of a dying star, as he once again floated with the great ship through another nebula. "We Rodé are ancient and powerful, and yet now we mostly sleep," the voice of the Oneness said in Alibi's mind. "We have seen so much. After the Dendon, we were symbiotes with the Sharpone. A Oneness also gone, long gone now." The tone shifted from glowing nostalgia to sharp and alert. "You must wake up, Alibi Jones." Alibi awoke. He was lying in his hospital bed, but his sheet and blanket had been stripped off, and he was surrounded by surgical equipment. They were working on his leg, cutting into his tissues, trying to surgically remove the Rodé symbiote. "What are you doing?" Alibi asked. "I didn't give my permission for this." "Alibi Jones? Why is he awake?" the surgeon asked. "The new cyborg specialist?" Dr. Curry stood nearby. He looked at Alibi, confused. "Curry!" Alibi shouted. "What are you doing?" The anesthesiologist placed the mask over Alibi's face, forcing him back into unconsciousness. Alibi woke up again. It was dark. He was alone in his room. Was that a dream? He looked down at his leg. New dressings? Doesn't mean anything. He called up the lights and took a closer look. There was some new work, but the alien leg was still in place. They hadn't been able to remove it, or even penetrate it by the look of things. The door opened. "Alibi?" Krish said, as he poked his head into the hospital room. "Krish!" Alibi said. He lost his temper. "What the fuck?" Krish walked into the room, waving his arms. "I am very sorry that happened that way," Krish said. "You were already asleep when Dr. Van arrived. We thought we'd ease you into anesthetic and do the work while disturbing you as little as possible." "Didn't work that way," Alibi said. "Again," Krish said, "very sorry about that. You were under a great deal of anesthesia. We were all quite surprised when you surfaced." "The leg might have had something to do with that," Alibi said. "That was our guess as well," Krish said. "You didn't get too far with it, though, huh?" Alibi looked down at his alien leg. "We didn't want you dead," Krish said. "It's a different tech than we're used to, integrated into your biology in a way we don't understand. Any attempt to remove or tamper with it affected your vitals. We couldn't go too far." "Well," Alibi said, "thank you for that." Krish darkened. "You really should thank me," Krish said. "There seemed to be some question on Doctors Van and Curry's minds as to whether your survival was the priority. I made sure it was." "Damn," Alibi said. "People are really turning against me here. Have turned against me. Guess out on the Depot Fringe I'm kind of insulated from it. Nobody out there cares that much." "Nobody would care here, except for Constantine and his bunch," Krish said. "Your aunt keeps trying to work with them, but I don't trust them. She's running an errand for Constantine's people right now, though I'm not supposed to know that. She said it would be fairly easy this time." "Easy? Hope so," Alibi said. "I'm sure Aunt Anita knows what she's doing." "I hope you're right," Krish said. "But, with her gone, I'm not sure you are safe here on Ceres. Just little old me protecting you from the circling Dr. Vultures." "No?" Alibi shook his head. "What makes you think I'm not safe, the midnight surgery or the murder attempt? I'm sure tired of waking up to nasty surprises." "It's not just those obvious things," Krish said. "I tried to have you released today. We couldn't do anything with your leg, and you seem fine to me, so I told them we should release you, with orders to check back in for periodical evaluation, once a month." Alibi sat up in bed. "You tried?" he asked Krish. "I did," Krish said. "But they vetoed me. Said we needed to keep you here on Ceres longer, for more observation. I do not like it." "Wonder if the guard on my door is there to protect me or keep tabs on me," Alibi said. "Gotta get out of here. This isn't good, Krish." "I know," Krish said. "There is now more security personnel on this wing of the hospital than there was last week. More than Dr. Bialy's activities merited, I think. That I do not like either." "Am I a prisoner, Krish?" Alibi asked. "Not that I've been told," Krish said. "But they do not seem to want you to leave." Alibi looked at the walls of his hospital room. Suddenly, they seem a little closer, more like cell walls. "I hope you do not mind, Alibi, but," Krish said, "I took the liberty of contacting your base. Your Darkour co-pilot cat was quite nice, but refused to come here to pick you up." Alibi winced. There was some pain with his leg. It had been fine before. "Smart," Alibi said. "We've been establishing the cruiser as a cargo hauler. Would kind of blow its cover to have it blaze in here and pick me up. Plus, it wouldn't exactly be authorized." "Ah," Krish said. "That does make sense. At any rate, I explained your situation here to him as best I could. Kat said he and Emily will work on finding a way to help you leave Ceres." "Great," Alibi said. "Thanks, Krish." "I don't know what they plan to do," Krish said. "But I haven't given up trying either." "Thank you." "At the very least, get out of bed," Krish said. "I can give you my permission for that small freedom. Head to the spa. Get some rehab going. I can't send you home, but I can let you out of this little box." "Thanks, Krish," Alibi said. "It will be good to get moving again." Alibi returned from the gym to his hospital room. "Finally starting to feel like myself again. Took a week. I'm getting old." Gonna be 30 soon. Couple years. He looked at the comm. No messages. His aunt hadn't returned any calls. He hadn't heard anything from her in over 2 weeks now. His crew hadn't been in touch either. But they might not want to be on record getting in touch with him if they were trying to figure out how to get him off Ceres. Can't wait to get back to the Hornet's Nest. Get off of Ceres and away from the Solar Alliance. He tried his aunt again. His call was rerouted to Ceres Central Safe Command. Can I help you? The safe trooper answered. This is Alibi Jones. I'm trying to reach my Aunt Anita. Anita Capituna? Oh, hold on, the trooper said. She's been reported as missing. I'm sorry. What do you mean, missing? The officer on the comm screen tried to be sympathetic and patient. He smiled an awkward smile before he continued. I'm sorry, Mediator Jones, he said, but we simply don't know any more than that. Her ship was due back last night, but she hasn't arrived on Ceres yet. There's no report of her ship in the Sol system. We'll keep you posted, I promise. This can't be good. Where is she? Where did her mission take her? Thank you. Jones out. Missing? Alibi called Krish. He'd mentioned Anita's trip to Alibi. Maybe Krish is in on her mission. Sorry, Alibi. The scientist didn't know much more than what he'd already told Alibi. It wasn't something for the project, I don't think. Though it might have been related, Krish said. She was going off the grid, I do know that. He shook his head. We rely far too much for our long-range communications on the subspace comm grid left to us by the Eldred and the Ancient Enemy. As we try to go further than their former reach, we must develop our own extensions to their systems, or come up with a new one of our own. So she's not reachable by wand, in other words? Alibi asked. Not for a while now, no, Krish said. And she was on official safe business. Yes, so she told me, Krish said. Some governmental trip of some kind. I don't like this, Alibi said. It stinks. Well, even if she was delayed because of something very non-threatening, she still would not be able to easily let us know, Alibi, Krish pointed out, being off-grid. You said this was something out of the Prime Rep's office, Alibi said. He'd love to get her out of the picture. I don't trust Constantine. Nor should you, given how he's attacked you personally, and kept you here on Ceres, it seems, Krish said. But he has been very respectful towards Anita. Only because he has to be, Alibi said, publicly. But he's been undermining her old authority behind the scenes ever since he took over. I hope you are just being paranoid, Alibi, Krish said. Me too, Krish, Alibi said. Me too. Alibi, there is something else, Krish said. An idea I've had. You've been going to the spa, correct? To the gym? Alibi said. Yeah, just got back from there. Do you not find it dull, lacking, to jog on a treadmill? Huh? Alibi said, puzzled. Would it not be better to jog around the station? Krish asked. Perhaps a circuit around the perimeter. Really stretch your leg. What is he getting at? Sure, that sounds like it would be better, Alibi said. Good, Krish said. I'll suggest it to the other doctors. I've got a route in mind if you're interested. My old route, the one I used to jog, about 2K. I don't think Krish has ever jogged a day in his life. He's up to something. Good. That would be great, Krish, Alibi said. Thanks. I'll stop by with the route. Talk to you later, Alibi, Krish said. He signed off. What? Does he want me to jog off the station? Krish showed up at Alibi's room after dinner that night. And then the route takes you through the port right here, Krish said, as he showed Alibi the map he'd plotted. Up to this point, the perimeter hallways and corridors Krish suggested were plain and useless. But by having Alibi jog the station's outer perimeter, he'd have to run through a part of the port, no matter the route. Ah, Alibi said. Finally. Well, You don't want to look obvious, Krish said. That's why it's a jogging route. You'll run it a few times, once a day, before we actually use it. Makes sense. You should be fine running through this part of the port. It's a cargo area, but not a high-security zone, Krish said. Just be sure to stay on the marked pedestrian path as you jog there. And this is where you exit the port, Krish said, pointing out a connecting corridor opposite the side of the port area from where Alibi would be entering. At least until your last run through there. Krish outlined the rest of the loop he'd mapped out, then transferred the info to Alibi's wand. Start running the route, Krish said. Once you've done it for about a week, we'll meet again, and I'll have a plan for your exit ready to go. So there isn't one yet? Alibi asked. Krish shook his head. No, not entirely. Not yet, Krish said. Okay, Alibi said. He couldn't hide the disappointment from his tone. Some things are in the works, Krish said. You're not supposed to be a prisoner here. No, Alibi said. I'm not. I just can't leave. No, Krish admitted. You are still under medical observation. But I have seen enough of you. Ha ha! He laughed. Alibi smiled. Thanks for trying, Krish, Alibi said. The next morning, Alibi threw on a jogging suit and started out the door of his hospital room. As he began jogging down the corridor, he saw a safe security guard ahead of him nod at someone behind Alibi. Off to the gym? The guard asked, moving to stand slightly in Alibi's way. Alibi jogged around him. Nah, he said. Doc's recommended I run. Gonna jog around the station. Alibi jogged past the man, dodging as the guard tried to stand in front of him. Sorry, Alibi called back. He jogged ahead, out of the wing he was staying in. As Alibi ran, he heard heavy footsteps behind him. The safe security guard who'd tried to stand in his way came running up. Alibi stopped and turned around. Is there a problem? Alibi asked. The man caught his breath. Nope, the guard said. Thought I'd jog with you, if you don't mind. Really? Well, this is rich. You're not dressed for a run, Alibi continued. The guard looked down at his standard-issue safe uniform jumpsuit and boots. No? He asked. Had to run in these plenty of times in boot camp. When I saw you were going to really run, not head to the gym, thought I'd follow. I was just going off duty anyway. Really? Okay, fine, Alibi said. He turned back and began running Krish's route, off towards the perimeter of Ceres Central, the safe security guard jogging a few steps behind. That was Chapter 25 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest, part of the Adventures of Alibi Jones Chronological Omnibus on Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. Alibi is running a new route around Ceres Central, devised by Krish, as the old scientist works on a plan to free Alibi Jones. Alibi's Aunt Anita is missing on a mission for Constantine and the Solar Alliance government. That can't be good. The doctors examining Alibi seem far too willing to kill and dissect him if that's what it takes to get his alien leg off. Thankfully, Krish is there to stop them, for now at least. All that and his biological mother, Ruth, has been freed and is talking to the news media, which may not actually complicate anything, but certainly doesn't make Alibi Jones's life any easier. We'll keep running with Alibi Jones in Chapter 26 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest on our next episode. Again, a thank you to Chris, who signed up as a new patron just this week. Thanks again to Jim, who upped his contribution. And I appreciate anything you can do if you want to become a patron. And you can find out more about becoming a patron at patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. It's the only way that I support the podcast, or let others support the podcast, let you if you'd like, by putting out memberships. You can become a monthly member, a member of Glow in the Dark Radio for $2, $5, or $10 a month. Entirely up to you. It's all voluntary at patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. And again, thanks to Chris for coming on board this week and for Jim for upping his contribution. And that is all for this week. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. Thank you again for listening to Glow in the Dark Radio. Glow in the Dark Radio. This podcast presentation is copyright 2026 by Michael F. Luoma and is protected under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License, CC by NC-ND 4.0. Music by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his work at incompetech.com. Mike's books are available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook, wherever you find books online. Get links and more details at glowinthedarkradio.com and mikeluoma.com. This has been a presentation of Glow in the Dark Radio.